Welcome back, everyone, to the newest installation of Jibber Jabber with Jarvis. This week, joining me, I have Spectacles in Blue. Ah, lovely. Why don't you go and introduce yourself to everyone?
Sure. Spectacles in blue. How do you do? I am a photographer, Magic the Gathering content creator. I got my little Planeswalker fork right here, so you know I'm official. Um, yeah, I spend a lot of time on Instagram photographing Magic cards, talking about the game, and I'm also on Twitter where I just Photoshop dumb things that people. What was yesterday? Fedoran Klex, I think, was something like someone mentioned something about Praetors and hats. I'm like,
Perfect.
you know, so I do that a lot as well. But anything. I've played this game since 1999, so I've played it at least once, is what I'm saying. So this should be fun. This should be a good time.
Awesome. So, for those that haven't seen this before, how we choose what deck we're building is we randomize it using EDHREC. Uh, can go up to 3 times, but after one is respun, you can't choose that one again. Then we
Mhm.
choose whether there's a budget or no budget. And if there's a budget, we choose the dollar amount ranging from $50 to $200 in $25 increments.
Ooh, yep.
So we're going to go and start off with the commander. And the commander, your first option is Anrakar, the Traveler, one of the Warhammer 40k commanders. It's a
Hmm.
5-drop 4/4 that whenever it attacks, you may cast an artifact spell from your hand or graveyard by paying life equal to the mana value instead of its mana cost.
I'm gonna say pass because mono black to me in Commander isn't you get a lot of the same cards over and over. Unless we get the budget, it's like mm,
Yeah, you can even see here like Roaming Throne, Shamil.
yep,
You're already
all the
getting
same stuff. Yep. Yeah.
okay.
Don't want to make this too easy for us.
Next one, Raksha Golden Cub, a seven
Oh,
drop in white. It's a 3/4 that, as long as it is equipped, cat creatures you control get +2/+2 and have double strike.
okay. Cat typal. Or well, yeah, it's cat typal and equipment. Hmm. Cats and equipment actually sounds really funny.
Okay.
I don't know. Do you get a say in this?
Hey, I'm here to go and build what you want to build.
Right. Well, so we're going to be stuck with whatever we get on three, right?
If you choose to spin the for a third time, you get whatever the last one is.
Mm. All right, let's do one more.
Okay.
Do one more.
Yeah,
That's
this
that's
one
that's
I think if you got one of like, for instance, Kemba, it would have
yeah.
been better. But 7 mana in white is not the most amount of fun to have.
No, you have to hope you get your land tax. You mully for land tax and soul ring, and oh, this is fun. Oh, I love it.
Ur-Drago. Uh,
Yeah.
it's a Dimir commander, 3, 2 black, and 2 blue. First strike creatures with Swamp Walk may be blocked as if they did not have this ability.
Oh, so it's pretty much a first strike Demir.
Yep.
So what we're gonna okay, yeah, we're doing this. What we're gonna end up doing is basically just a Demir deck with a figurehead that we can do commander damage if we need it, which is how I build Demir anyway. So
Sounds good. Because I don't know a lot
I
of
apologize,
people.
Talion. I apologize. Sorry. What?
Well, come on. Is Italian just kind of good stuff anyway?
I mean, I'm seeing Talion power creep up to CEDH, which I don't even play. So
Oh yeah, it has.
so
Uh,
it has.
I don't know a
So.
lot of the old legends, so this is the first time I am seeing this. Would it
Oh, I
build?
am banking, pun intended, on us getting budget now.
And it makes sense that this is the first time I'm seeing it because it only has 23 decks.
Mm,
So let's see what it's going to be, budget or no budget.
yeah. So, by the way, I wanted to address, I wasn't ignoring the chat fight, Ben fight. That was kind of a thought I had with the mono white commander, but I want to stay true to the deck building show and not use a secret commander as a point. Although I guess now we're going to need one for Demir, but
Well,
at the moment it seemed like the fun thing to do.
well, you got no budget, so you can build however you want.
Right. Yeah. I also I slightly love the budget no budget wheel being that like it's the most complicated coin flip ever.
Yeah, I'm not
I
gonna
love
go
it. This show is
Ur-Drago.
great.
I can set it as commander this way, right? Perfect. Set as commander.
Yep, Ur-Drago. Let me pull this up bigger on my screen so I don't uh get lost in the sauce, as it were.
And we'll go here. So where do you want to
Actually,
start?
well, now I need to think about this. If there's any Demir, there really isn't Demir first strike affinity or anything of that
No.
sort. Um, I'm actually checking. So it's actually an elemental, and there aren't really many Demir elemental things either that I'm aware of.
Well, let's.
It's a 1994 card. Wow. I wonder why it was never reprinted. I can't imagine. Can't
There are
imagine a reason.
120 elementals in Demir. I think a lot of them are
Interesting.
blue.
A lot. Well, yeah. But I'm saying as far as like
Like support past that,
a
probably
support
not.
for elementals, yeah, yeah. Besides being an elemental, because I know there's a lot of uh Temur elemental stuff you could do if you have the blue ones, but what? Hmm.
Yeah, but there's.
I'm actually just gonna pull up the same search you have on screen here. I'll go to full screen this. Okay. Enters the battlefield. Land. Oh, yeah, Amoeba. Amoeba.
Yeah, it's not.
Mm-hmm.
It's not the best if you wanted to go typo. It would definitely
No, we're
be.
not gonna go typo. I'm just trying to think if there was anything we could do.
Yeah, it would definitely be very much jank. Yeah, because
Oh
I,
yeah.
I don't even think any of the elementals in Demir care about elementals.
No. So we could just pick any theme and just kind of do it, like I said, just have a first strike commander as a backup plan.
Yep.
All right.
I didn't realize
Well,
Octavia was
when
an elemental, so I learned new things this way.
oh yeah.
I just thought it was an
No,
optional.
this is one of my favorite things to do is just random Scryfall searches actually. But so when I think Demir, I my favorite Demir mechanic is of course Surveil.
Okay.
But I think we could probably get away with a scry heavy thing instead. Um, let's see. What are some? Although we don't have a budget, so we could do the commander thing, like Fight and Fight was saying.
You definitely
Decisions,
could.
decisions, decisions, decisions. Yeah, no, Fight and Fight was absolutely right. They are indeed rough.
Yes.
Sorry, I'm like trying to balance the chat and our search windows here because, all right. So let's just assume Surveil because that's my favorite thing in Demir, like ever. Or Mill, but I don't like Mill decks. That's more of your wheelhouse, isn't
No,
it?
it is. And I
Yeah.
love
So,
when they went and keyworded Surveil.
yeah. All right. So I'm just gonna start scrolling through some Surveil cards on my end. If you want to like hit me with some questions while I'm doing that, I'm okay with doing it that way, just so I can pick. Because it's been a minute since I built Demir, so let me just
Mhm.
find a few bookmarked favorites of mine,
Okay.
and I'll start listing them for you.
Well, a good way to start is you actually already kind of answered it a little bit. You started playing in '99.
99. Yep.
So, how did you
Mercadian
start playing?
Masks. Well, Mercadian Masks. Actually, that's mostly true. There was a Stardew 99 set box for kids. And that was the best adjective I guess you could have described me at that time. Uh, so I was and my siblings the target audience for that. And then by the time we'd purchased that, there was also Mercadian Masks out. So we were running around with these weird uh, starter decks that were all vanillas. Like you had your EDHREC, your trained org, I think was 99, or was that 2000 starter? Either way, I had both of them. But like you had those kind of cards. Grizzly Bears was in it, of course. So those are all the vanillas, and then Mercadian Masks, which was a lovable mess of a set. It's still one of my favorite sets, but it's like you look at that and you're just like the synergy wasn't really because like this was a time and an era where there were set blocks and rather than like sets of standard that rotates through within the sets that come out, it was you had your masks, your prophecy, and your nemesis, I think was masks block. Don't quote me. So if there's an old timer in the chat, hit me up. But those were the sets that were supposed to synergize with each other, but you had like mercenaries or famously rebels in mono white for masks was the thing that worked. And then you had Invasion coming out, and you had the Brian Kibler with Armadillo Cloak deck, and those were like the two at that time, right?
Oh yeah. So so I'm guessing it was a more of a family thing that got you started. That you just saw the starter decks for kids,
Mm-hmm.
and you and your siblings were like, yeah, let's go.
Well, my brother had actually heard of it from some schoolmates of his, right? So he had heard of the thing and pointed it out, and yeah, and I remember we were at like this roadside toy store. We were like on a road trip as a family, and we just saw it in the roadside toy store. So support your LGS no matter how far in the boonies it is.
Oh, definitely.
Is what, yeah, is what I'm saying. Hmm.
So I know you don't like mono black. How do you feel about mono blue?
I feel like I'm not in a good company to answer that question, truthfully. No, no, so I it's not that I don't like mono black. I just feel like I've built mono black decks before and they always come out the same. I default to the same cards.
Okay.
That's it's not that I dislike it. Mono blue, I feel like I want at least another color to rely on and make it more fun to play. Like mono blue, I could think of like 5 different decks that'll all feel different. Um, like your Urza deck. I don't mean you specifically, but probably knowing you.
I
You
used to
know.
have one.
Yeah, you did. I'm sure. I'm sure you did. There's Urza, who's another mono blue. I had the mono blue Teferi in like the 2014 series. I had that one and the Fraley's deck.
Yeah.
So I've seen that one go.
The second commander deck I ever built for myself. Oh,
Mhm.
I sorry, no, it was the third. Third commander deck I ever built for myself was Urza.
Yeah,
Second one was
I'll do it.
Conrad. First one was Five
Mhm.
Color Eldrazi using Moripon. I've
Mm.
always been a monster.
Yeah, some are born that way. All right, so I think we're just gonna start listing for the decks some mainstays. So Baleful Strix is one of my favorite cards in Dimir. It's just ever so useful.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Actually, I'm gonna pull up some of the Doctor Who ones because some of the Doctor Who Dimir cards were dope.
Yeah, and that would be something that I don't have much knowledge on because
Yeah, yeah.
I wasn't the target audience for Doctor Who.
I was I was definitely in that camp, so I get it.
Like, I tried
Let's see
so hard to
another.
like it. I just couldn't like it.
Mhm. Yeah. Let's see. So I have Undermine and Counter Squall are my two favorite Dimir counter spells.
Undermine.
I think it's Undermine. Don't
Yeah,
quote
counter
me.
target spell. Its controller loses to your life.
Yeah, and then there's Counter Squall, which is kind of the same thing.
Oh, come on. It is 2 life. One less life, but one less mana.
One less life, one less. Yep, that's it. Dimir Charm is another go-to for me. Oh, we could actually do some Ashiok shenanigans, so that we have that option for us.
I love Ashiok. They
Yeah,
are one of my favorite planeswalkers.
they're one of my favorite characters because it's just like, why are you? Why are you? That's the only question you can get out before right?
Yep.
So,
Then
um,
I my favorite planeswalkers were always like Ashiok, Teferi, Karn.
mhm. Mm. All the ones you can play in these colors, I see.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm
Um,
a Dimir player, so like this
yeah,
deck's
no, I
built
know
well.
this is well, I'm glad we am I naming cards you like as well, or am I just
Hey, we're here. My cards, I could go all day naming Dimir cards. So
yeah,
they're all cards that I would play in a deck. Let's put it that
yeah.
way.
Hmm. Oh, you know who I haven't used, but I love the card and I still want to figure out a way to use it. If I could use the Kaido either Kaito Planeswalker cards, because Kaito is also a character I love.
Yes. So Kaito Shizuki.
Oh, you know what? Kaito Shizuki, I think that's the one. I think it's just the regular name for the Neon
It's
Genesis. That one you can use to make ninjas, and ninja and first strike would actually kind of work.
yep. Well, yeah, he's the one
I'm
that
just
you can make ninjas that can't be blocked and
mm,
card draw. He also has the ability that if you can ever ultimate him, that
yep,
whenever a creature you control deals combat damage, you get to go and put a blue or black
a
creature card
tutor, yeah.
right in
That's the tutor
play.
one, yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
The other
All
Kaido
right, let's just throw both Kaidos in.
is I don't play this one as much. I'm gonna change the art because this art is not the easiest to read.
Oh yeah,
There we
no.
go.
Yep. And then if we're going to use planeswalkers, we could use Iker Moon because we're terrible people. Are you familiar with that card?
Uh, I do know Iker Moon Gauntlet quite well.
Yep.
There's a period of time that people were trying to make an Iker Moon deck in Standard. It just never took off.
Mm, no, no. All right.
We cannot do Possibility Storm because this is a Dimir deck based off the commander we rolled.
Yep.
And Fuzi, we cannot do Protected from Magic either.
Mm-hmm.
I've tried in my real life; it doesn't work.
Let's see here. Okay, I'm caught up with chat now. Am I frozen?
I know.
Or am I just... No, okay. Yeah, sorry. My Discord, I was frozen. But as long as I'm not actually frozen, we're good.
Yep.
Okay. And now I'm just going back to my mainstay list, see if there's anything that'll synergize with these two. I mean, we could do the basic black... Let me go to my mono black mainstays. Yeah, why not? Actually, let's just do that. Pull up that package list. Okay. Well, we don't have a budget, so we could just be absolutely terrible and just throw in all of the tutors that people hate,
Good.
like that, like Imperial Seal. People don't know about that one. Scheming Symmetry.
Oh, I love Scheming Symmetry. I do not like Imperial Seal, but I love Scheming Symmetry.
Well, Imperial Seal is just, you know, a reskin of the same thing as right?
Like,
Because it's a top card 2 life, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
It's a bad vampiric tutor.
It is a bad vampiric tutor, but again, I like Surveil.
True.
So you put it on top and then you throw it in the grave if you want to do Reanimator.
And who doesn't want to do Reanimator?
Mm.
The deck is going
Price
to
of
be
Betrayal.
as mean as Spectacles wants it to be.
Yeah, I'm just throwing a bunch of like stuff, and if we have to rebalance it like later, I'll do it before the deck list gets posted or something, you know?
How do I not remember this
What's
card?
up?
I'm like, this is a War of the Spark card, and I don't remember it. I'm like, because it wasn't played.
Nah, Price of Betrayal is good now, because like if you do battles,
Yes.
which speaking of which, one of my favorite cards that they've made and recently is the Invasion of Fiora.
Yes, that one is a great board wipe.
It's a great board wipe, but even better, I love the back of it. So yeah, so chat, we are just starting with my favorites, and if we cut them, we cut them. I'm just throwing them all onto the palette here, and if we can think of synergies as we go, because Jarvis is the Dimir player and Spectacles is not. So I'm trying to see how long it takes for Jarvis to be like, "What are you doing?"
I won't do that.
Yeah, I know.
I'm here for the ride.
Let's see.
I'm very good at not taking over.
No, I know. It's just super funny to me. Dark Ritual is always funny
So
to use.
you're not a Dimir player. What is your favorite color combination?
Oh, that's definitely Simic. For the memes. I joked recently, in fact, I say this a lot, Spectacles and Simic would be way more accurate, but Spectacles in Blue is way better branding.
Yeah.
Although
And
that's not even where the name comes from. The glasses were coincidental at first.
you're like, obviously, I
Uh,
don't get the blue glasses.
no, so what actually happened was I had the glasses first, and but when I thought of the name, it was vaguely independent. Because I like music. Music was my thing. I was going to be a musician, but then I developed health issues and couldn't sing, as among other things. This is personal stuff I won't get too far into for your chat's sake. But I got these glasses for performing music. I didn't get them for this or photography or anything. Photography was a thing from way back, and I'll talk about that in a second too, if you want to care about that. But I like music, so the song Rhapsody in Blue is where the name came from. Not the glasses. The spectacles became a pun with it because I was thinking spectacles like photography, like, oh, I show you spectacles, and I realized I have blue glasses.
It just worked
You
out
know,
perfectly.
it just worked out. Yeah, so it was all kind of a coincidence.
You and I have a lot of common. My first time I went to college, I was going to school to be a music major.
Mm.
I could never sing though.
Mm.
I was purely an instrumentalist.
See, I didn't even go to school for music. This was going to be a side thing. Oh, does Price of Betrayal work on
It
battles?
doesn't target battles unless they have errated it.
I don't know if it actually does work on battles, but there is another one from like Mom that does do battles. But anyway, I like Price of Betrayal coincidentally, but
Yeah, it has not been errated.
it has not been errated. Okay. It's still a dope card, don't get
Yep.
me wrong. It's actually really good in Oathbreaker because you can if you make it a signature spell in a mono black Oathbreaker, you could take off 5 loyalty off of the opponent's Oathbreaker.
That's a fantastic tip of stuff. I love an Oathbreaker.
Hey, hey. If you want to build Oathbreaker, we could just change gears now. I'll do Ashiok. No, I do love Oathbreaker. Oh, Limdol's Vault?
uh,
I actually do rec.
it's card selection.
Mm,
It doesn't get played really in casual commander. It is more
yep.
of a CDH card.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I remember this one. I mean, if we're not worried about power creep, I would say hold off on it, but if we need like a slot fill, that's fine.
We'll take it out.
Yeah.
It's a it's a card that I don't think I've ever seen anyone playing casual, even though I love the card.
Mhm. Yep. Um,
So I know you went
let's
with
see here.
Kaido, and you keep mentioning Ashiok. Did you want
Yeah.
to go to more planeswalkers? And
I mean, I just keep joking because I like I'm very Vorthosy in that sense. Uh,
well, just
I'm looking at lists of ninja actually for Kaito's sake. See if there's anything I can play
yeah,
around with here just for fun and Vorthos material, but
yeah. Just the only reason why I mentioned that is since Ur-Drago really doesn't have a guide, you could go and put it into a Super Friends list.
that's what I'm thinking in the back of my head. Yeah, so we could actually throw some Ashioks in. Oh, Rogue Class is also a card I love in Demir.
And you
I just saw
mentioned
that one
your
on the list.
favorite counter spells in Demir.
Yep.
You missed my
Hmm.
favorite counter spell in Demir.
Which is
Dragon on the Lock.
Mmm. Yeah, so that one to me is more on the higher scale. Let's throw it in. Why not? Throw it in. But
So, uh, up
too bad we
until
aren't Esper indeed, Darth Vash. Sorry.
uh, yeah, Esper is a. But if I was playing three colors, those are the three colors I want to play.
Yeah, well,
Uh,
for you, well, Esper is just slightly more cheerful, Demir.
oh no, it's Esper is much more punishing Demir.
Oh, but it has a smile when it hits you. It's like corporate America. Sorry, is that no? Is that too much? Is that
Oh
too
no,
much?
not
Sorry.
at all.
um. Yeah. So. Um, Satoru Umazawa. If you activate ninjutsu, yeah, we could do some more ninjutsu
Yeah,
stuff.
Sataru makes everything have ninjutsu.
Yeah, which would be good because if we can get it such that our first striker gets to our hand somehow, like if we could bounce our own stuff, like play it, bounce it, and then you just ninjutsu with a first striker, which doesn't make sense, but I'm just making stuff up as I go. I'm trying to see if your chat starts to hate me. It's my favorite thing to do on deck building shows. Just
Use
turn
everyone
chat against
else.
me really quickly. Um, Sharky, Tyrant of the Shire.
Sharky's
That
fun.
card's mean.
It is. That's why I said it's fun.
Yeah, especially in EDH, it's kind of fun because like if they play a wide land base like that, all right, throw it in.
Okay.
Why not?
My Demir deck, if I could find where I put it, because apparently I misplaced it, is actually Grima
Mhm.
Saruman's Footman.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sharky is pretty mean. But it's also a lot of fun.
Let's see. Silver Fur Master is apparently a really good ninjutsu one because it makes ninjutsu
Yes.
cost less.
It makes it cost less and doesn't all act as a lord for ninjas.
All right, so there you go. Throw.
If I remember
We're just
correctly.
we've irrationally just done ninjas now. We're just doing a ninja deck. Let's see.
It's like as long as I remember. Yep. Ninjas and
Yep.
rogues.
Ninjas and rogues. Yep. Oh, if we're doing rogues, then there's always Demir Sig, but I don't think that's as good.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's good card draw, but there's better cards for that nowadays.
Well, come on, you have the best card draw in Demir.
Yeah. Uh,
Speaking of creature
hmm.
types, we're going
hmm
on a lot of ninjas. What and we mentioned elementals earlier. What's your favorite creature type?
Oh, so I was playing goblins in 1999, and I still run a goblin deck in EDH/Oathbreaker with a lot of the same goblins from way back when and
Hydroid
before
Elite.
that. But I actually my deck I'm quote famous for, or whatever signature decks Force Oathbreaker and Commander goes is anima, so land creatures.
Okay.
So animating lands um to destroy things is kind of my favorite strategy. So I guess it's not really a creature type, so I just default to say Goblin typal, because that was my oldest deck.
Well, most lands when they get animated don't they become elementals.
They do become elementals a lot of the time, but those are like the manland ones. I'm talking like Tatyova Sword of Tides is the commander for the EDH version of my signature deck. The Oathbreaker version, it's Nissa Sword of Elements.
Okay.
And those I think do make them both elementals, if I remember correctly.
That's what I'm like. I was thinking Nissa Who Shakes the World makes some elementals, if I remember right as well. Uh,
Yeah, Shakes the World is a good card.
it
Absolutely.
well, it's green, so
I know. That's why I'm saying it.
no, it's actually funny. Goblins are actually my least favorite creature type, but it's
Yeah, well, you and I have a lot of disagreements, but
the
we're still very amicable about it.
the reason why goblins are my least favorite creature type is when I got back into Magic. My
Yeah.
cousin's commander deck was Cranko Mob Boss,
Yeah.
and that was his only commander deck. Made
Mhm.
me hate goblins going up against it all the
Mm,
time.
gotcha, yeah. All
Now
right.
there are some good goblins though, like Dockside.
Well, well. I have a fun little story about one of my favorite goblins ever is Goblin Wizard, which
Okay.
is a card from the Dark. Shout out to people who remember that set. But so when I bought that card, I was at because my main LGS as a kid, this was 99, 2000, and the LGS closest to me where I live and grew up was a brick and mortar Wizards of the Coast store, so I couldn't buy singles like anywhere close to me for a long time.
Okay.
So when I did start buying singles, it was a few years into playing, like post Odyssey block, and I was digging through a shoebox that was labeled garbage for singles that were for a dime. They said 10 cents, and I picked out Goblin Wizard. And I was like, "Oh, it's a goblin, cool." And it can summon other goblins from the hand. Cool. Now, in 60 card kitchen table whatever magic 4-drop goblin is kind of ludicrous. I understood that, but it was funny. So I bought one copy of that because that's all they had in the box, and I brought it to the register, and the guy was literally laughing at me, saying, "Why are you buying a garbage card?" So then about a year ago, around this time, it was like February last year, I just for the heck of it looked up how much goblins it cost. It cost $86.10. So it's like an 86,000% markup.
But hey, you bought a garbage card that became $86. Why not?
I mean, it's a good card now in Commander. Oh my gosh.
Now you just need to go and find that guy and be like, was it a garbage card?
Oh, I'm never going back to where I grew up. You kidding me?
I understand that. Speaking as
Let's
someone
see
that never
here.
really left where I grew up, I definitely understand not wanting to go back.
Yeah. Let's see here. I'm looking at some of the Doctor Who ones, like I said, as well. Good thing I can multitask, otherwise this show would take like hours. Uh, Master Mesmerist is kind of funny, but I don't think that's good for the deck. Let's see here. Maybe I should just go straight to looking up ninjas and forget everything else.
Well, ninjas are
Oh,
always fun.
ninjas are always fun. Yeah, I'm just gonna go straight to looking up ninjas now. Um, and some other ninja synergy. Let's see here.
I thought Demir would have more ninjas than it does.
Yeah, which is why we're just gonna limit ourselves off the get-go and piss off your chat, like I said.
It was like
There's like 8. Well,
30.
we could just throw all 7 of them in at this point, because Yuriko is a very famous commander back in the day.
Well,
People
there's
still running Yuriko?
yes.
Yeah.
Not people have grown out of doing it in casual because they know the reputation it has.
Right, but if this is in the 99, who cares?
Yeah, definitely. What I'm talking about in general, even if you're going off both black and blue that are available, there's only
Yeah.
37 ninjas.
Yeah.
So we'll add
Well, I'm
Yuriko.
saying throw all the Demir ones in. I think all of them actually would work pretty well. Reading them.
Katosi. Oh wait, what's the? I never actually looked at the back of this one.
What,
Rooftop.
Katos?
Oh well, no. Invasion of Kamigawa. The back of it is a ninja.
Oh, yes, yes. I don't remember liking it, though. Let me just look at that real quick.
I like the back of it because it's card draw. What the front of it does, I can't read that well.
I mean, like I said, battles synergize well with Marquesa, which is the back of the Invasion of Fiora, because that one actually does remove counters from a permanent.
Well, and how this one also works well is if you do go ninjas and do ninjutsu, you could
Mhm.
replay the battle
Ooh, we like that. All right, let's
because
stop. Oh.
it does fly, so it does have evasion.
Mm. Oh, someone put Goblin Snowman in the chat.
Yes,
Shout out to you.
Darth is very good at knowing random old cards that no one would ever think of.
Well, I saw someone posting Goblin Snowman super recently because like holiday stuff, so it makes the rounds.
Are there any of the monocolored ninjas that you would want in the deck?
Let me pull up the list again. I was reading the chat just to keep up, and we're still doing a show here or something, right?
Yeah.
That's something yeah. So see here. Uh, What's our card count so far, by the way?
Adding that, we're at 24.
24, yeah. So we got space,
Oh, yeah.
and we only have like we should have like 12 creatures if I counted myself.
I have 9.
You have 9. Okay. Oh, right. Planeswalkers. Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah.
I was trying to count the non-instant sorceries we threw in. Let's see here. I don't like that one. Have that one in here. Oh, Mistblade Shinobi for a 3-drop as a bounce. I don't like that. That's pretty good. Although if it was like a 2-drop, I'd say that's dope. But let's see here. Oh, Sakashima Student obviously is That's a good one.
All Sakushima is good.
Yeah. Throat Slitter is a 3 ninjutsu. I like that because it's a removal. Oh, Thousand Face Shadow is a. I throw that in non-ninja decks. And then there's Throat Seeker's good for lifelink if you care about that in Commander these days.
Do you?
In Naya, I would.
Well, where it's good in black is if you actually want to do
Well,
anything
like
that
we have
drives
some of
away from
the
life.
yeah, so we could throw that one in. We got space. Like I said, I'm more my deck building style is very much throw in a bunch of garbage and then take garbage out as you feel like you like something emerges, you know. That's just how I work.
I agree.
And usually I deck build in paper when I can. Like I start with paper cards and then I kind of expand from there. So when I build on Moxfield on people's shows, I'm always kind of like, I have too many toys.
Where's my limitations?
Exactly, exactly.
So, speaking, we mentioned photography earlier. So
Yeah.
I know that is a big hobby of yours. Why don't you
Mm.
talk about a little about your photography and what it has allowed you to do now in the Magic community?
First up, before I get there, Mono Black Nashi.
Actually,
I
okay.
forgot about that card. That's a good card. In my opinion, chat. I love that card. Sorry.
No problem.
Um, let's see. So photography with me, it's actually interesting. You called it a hobby. I'll do a little bit of backfill too. I started photography. My first camera ever was a Polaroid because you know 90s, right? And I still have it, and it still works, by the way. But so I did photography in the background for a long, long time in my life, but I didn't do anything like yearbook photo club or even take a class on it like ever. Um, but it always was a mainstay in my life. And what happened was, you know, something happened in 2020. I don't quite remember what it was, but I feel like we all had to stay inside a bit. I don't remember what that was about. But yeah, so that happened to all of us, right?
Yeah, kind of fuzzy on what it
And
was.
yeah, and of course, magic was also always in my life. So I kind of was just like, you know, very big on social media. So before I ever made Spectacles in Blue as an account, I have a private account, which I'm not going to dox because I still have family attached to that account. I'm not going to throw that at out people. Which is why I didn't even realize I wasn't following you on main, because I followed all of my friends now before as just like a nameless lurking fan before I met any of you. And so I'm like, oh, I guess I don't follow you on main. Sorry about that.
Oops.
Right. Um,
Well, I appreciate it.
but yeah, so now I have a now we've met most of you, but like in person even. Um, so as far as what I'm doing Magic now, so the way that that kind of picked up was I just ended up getting a new camera to mess around with around the house, and I was photographing Magic cards. Then I discovered Instagram. There was a big community for people who upload their collection via photos, and most of them are just like, I don't want to like burn my friends there. I know a lot of awesome people there. Some of them are just kind of like, you know, put the card on an easel, photograph it. It's the same pose every time. And I thought to myself, well, I have a macro lens. I wonder if it looks cool in a macro lens. And the first photo I ever took was just a throwaway. It was the red Kamigawa Neon Dragon because I just opened a box
Okay.
of Kamigawa Neon Genesis when I was playing around with this. So this was like early, but then like I took that photo, it was kind of cool. I didn't do anything with it for a while. And then I was like, yeah, start doing that. And I started doing that, and people liked it. And then more people liked it. And I'm like, oh, I guess I'll make these descriptions mean something. So I just started talking about the game, started making jokes and all these things. And one thing led to another there. And then I was like, oh, I skipped the Vegas, the very first Magic 30 Vegas. But then I was like, I should go to Philadelphia. That's relatively close to where I was at the time. And I'm like, okay. So I go to Philly and I'm like, I should try photographing cosplayers. And that didn't go as well as I thought because I never really photographed people in years because, you know, like I said, something happened in 2020.
Yep.
But I was also messing around photographing the people playing Magic. And those photos were something I never did. I'd never seen anybody do that. And something magic happened where I walked up and I noticed Oh, that's Sheldon Menery. And he was playing with a friend of mine who I'd met there actually in person for the first time was Cody Junfund.
Okay,
Shout out to Junfund. Love you.
great
Love
person.
you. Great person. And I'd met and Cody was awesome. Cody actually talked me through how to survive at a con, a Magic Con specifically. I've been to board game cons before, and I owe Cody so much for that because it helped a lot. But anyway, so I see Sheldon playing with Junfund and I think Coy Bowmaster and Ian Ager. Anyway, not name dropping. I'm trying to remember the people.
Uh,
But I'm seeing him playing, and he walks up and he goes, "Aren't you the guy from Rush?"
that sounds like a shouted thing to say.
Yeah. It's like, isn't this Geddy Lee? And I said, no, but I got a photo of that pod. And then the next day, I was walking through the command zone, just photographing more people because I was just playing around and practicing at that point. And Sheldon comes up to me and said, "Hey, can we photograph this?" And I look over, they're playing the pre-EDH. It's Sheldon and Brian David Marshall playing the decks they played on Tolarian College, and with a few people. And I was like, "Yeah, I'll photograph that pod." And then Sheldon later wanted to write up for his Star City Games article pre EDH. So I was like, "Oh, yeah, why don't you use the photo I took?" And he's like, "Awesome, thank you." And then suddenly my watermark's on a Star City Games article. And I'm like, "Oh, okay." And I didn't realize how much attention that would garner when I said that. I was kind of a throwaway thing. Sheldon's a cool guy. And I was like, "Oh, yeah, I'll do. He didn't write my name in the article. I didn't ask him to. I didn't want him to. I was just kind of like, yeah, whatever. It's, you have a moment for the article. And then people found me. Didn't think I did not, that wasn't even my intent. I was just like, yeah, Sheldon's cool, whatever. But that happened. And so I was like, oh, I guess I'm just photographing Magic players now. And I'm like, wait, I like all these people. I should just, so yeah. And then it got to a point where I'm like, people are messaging me and say, "Hey, are you going to that event? You're going to this event? I want to." Yeah, I'm like, "Yeah, I'll be there." And now I'm just there and photographing people, sending it out. They post it on the Twitter, and it has nothing to do with my own content. I'm at a point where I actually have two separate fan bases: one on Twitter for people photography,
Yeah.
and one on Instagram for like my actual content.
And now you actually guessed at the cons.
Yeah, now I get. Yeah, that's. Thank you. I wasn't even gonna say that. Yeah, I was gonna say. Yeah, but yeah. So
uh,
that's
I
that's the full story.
I love that Sheldon does stuff like that because he was very good at recognizing what someone was good at and then going and giving them an avenue to go and put it to work.
Well, I say this. I love Sheldon. I miss Sheldon as a person. Without Sheldon Menery, there would not be a Spectacles in Blue that you've heard of. I say that every time.
Yeah, I'm still thankful for the one game I actually got to play with him.
Yeah.
It was fantastic.
Anyway, that was way more of a question, way more of an answer than the question you asked me.
Hey, well,
Yeah.
no, you gave a very in depth answer.
Yeah. I'm very verbose. I was always an English person more than anything else. It's like math was never a thing. I joke photographer, you just need to know what the numbers on the camera mean. You don't actually know numbers.
And it's kind of like a feel thing too. Like I feel that's going to be right.
Well, yeah, there's an art to it. Like when you shoot manual like I do, it's just like, well, it ain't blurry, and as long as the part you don't want to be blurry isn't blurry, the part you want to be blurry is blurry. You got the shot you wanted, you know.
But my cousin does a lot of photography. Uh,
Yeah.
he hates photographing people, but he will do it. He has friends that
Hmm.
want a model, so he'll do those shots for him. But he'd rather
Yep.
go and do animal photography. And there's been times
Hmm.
that he's handed me his camera. I'm like, dude, I'm like, you still have this in manual. I can't do anything with it.
Yeah. It's it's definitely well that's the other thing when I learned serious photography because I'd had the Polaroid first, like I said, but I actually learned how to use a real camera with my dad's old Nikon, and that was before there was like really automatic was like a thing you could do well on a digital DSLR. So I was just using manual then, and now I use a mirrorless body, and I'm still using full manual. All these features that I'm paying for, I
You're like, nah, don't need it.
don't need them. Yeah, but we got way off track. Some ninjas, huh?
Yeah, so the one card that Darth mentioned was Trading
Yep.
Grounds.
Oh, yes. Yes. Love it.
I the fact that this is a $2 card now blows my mind.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Thank you, Darth. All right. Let's see. So what other let me just finish up the ninja list while I'm like looking at the creatures because I think we're where are we at? 14. We can do like 6 more. I like to start with 20 creatures and add or
Okay.
subtract. I'm very much, and especially because I play goblins, like I said a lot, that goblin deck was important. Goblins have a thing where you use the activated abilities. You can almost use more creatures than spells in those kind of decks because goblins have so many activated abilities, like such a variety of them. Other decks, not so much. So I start with 20 if it's not goblins, right? And add from there. Uh, let's see. Da, 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 da. I don't think we have that one yet. That's an illusion thing. Oh, Mist Syndicate. Did we get that one?
Miss Syndicate Naga?
Yeah. I don't know if that one's good. I used to run that in when I did Ninjas in Modern for a very, very short time. That was a good card there. I don't know if it'd be good in EDH.
It would be because free creatures.
Free creatures, always good in EDH. Good free blockers more than anything.
Darth, let me know if it sounds any better. I did try to turn myself up.
Oh, Ink Guys. Ink Guys is also fun.
Uh, Darth says a bit underrepresented, but neat thing is that original Trada can be ninjutsu'd out when the ability goes on the stack for a combo kill.
Mm-hmm.
So the Trada is cares about hit counters, if I remember right.
I think
Is
so.
that
That sounds right.
MKM? No, that was the wrong Atrada. This is the wrong Atrada. Remove it. I don't know why I picked MKM. I should know better.
Yeah, I've heard of that. That's like pretty, that's like, I know. It's the next one.
The silencer. There we go.
Yeah, yeah.
Because with ninjutsu,
Mm-hmm.
you are able to ninjutsu until combat's over. So,
Right.
in response to Atrada's trigger, you can go and uh, ninjutsu in to Atrada's trigger. So that
Mm-hmm.
way you don't have to shuffle it back into your library.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if
Yeah, no,
that. Okay,
I'm all for it. Yeah.
that's where Darth was going for that.
Yeah, I like it. Thank you, Darth. Thank you, Darth. Um, I'm trying to debate whether you think we're probably going to need a few artifacts for mana.
Yeah.
So maybe covert technician might be a good ad for that reason. Of course, this isn't like wow. Actually, I'll talk about that in a second. So yeah, there's covert technician. Dekuchi silencer might be interesting removal, but I don't know if we're gonna have too many creatures to use its effect often because you have to discard creatures. Although, yeah, why not?
Let me just do this because
Yep.
spelling it was a DO. That's why I didn't spell right because I wanted to make a DA.
Hmm.
Nice, Darth.
Yep. All right, so that's 19. Like I said, I'm aiming for 20, and I'm trying to think if there's like another just a staple mono blue like 1-drop creature. Oh, actually, 2-drop creature, Waterfront Bouncer. If you've never seen this card, this is absolutely one of my favorites. This is from when I started way back in the day in Mercadian Masks. You basically just can, it's a spell shaper, so you can get as many unsummons as you want if you're willing to throw away cards.
Oh, it's an unsummon. Is unsummon gonna summon Coach?
I hope so. I would love to hang with J-Ro more, honestly.
He's a fantastic person.
I love him. I love him. I love him. All right. Let's see. Yeah, no, J-Ro is absolutely one of the nicest, kindest human peoples. That's a good sentence, Specs.
Yes,
In Magic.
you're not wrong.
So
So,
speaking of J-Ro, I mean, I'm thinking we could just throw an unsummon in just in J-Ro's honor, frankly. It's a good card anyway. Also vanilla counterspell, why not? Might as well just have another counterspell.
so I'm the person that I always put in just regular counterspell,
Yeah.
just so that way if I'm countering something, I'm like, yeah, just regular counterspell.
Yeah. I mean, I have one of my favorite photos I've ever taken, and I don't talk about my cards like my card photos like this, but one of my favorites ever is there's just a collage of counterspells. Um, and the reason I love that piece so much is because my Instagram also on Insta you can use music with your photos. So a lot of the time, if you're on the app, you hear the music, and most of the time the music is a pun for the thing, and people and so few people get that it kind of is infuriating almost. But for the counterspell one, I use the song where it's like today I'm not doing anything and nothing at all, and I still go back to that piece and laugh because I'm like, laughing at my own jokes. That's
Hey,
how you tell I'm a real content creator.
I was like, if I didn't laugh at my own jokes, no one would.
Exactly, exactly. So you have to. I'm just so proud of that. Oh, Imazawa's G. That was also on my artifact list. Wow, Darth is reading my mind, but I'm not putting. I don't want. I didn't want to suggest like power creepy cards, but I'm all for it. Actually, if chat says it's okay, then I'm going. I'm going wild.
Hey, if you wanted to build this as a CDH deck, I would have been okay with that. We're able to build it however you want.
Oh, I'm not doing CEDH with Ur-Drago.
I don't put restrictions on the type of deck you build or the power level.
I, well, honestly, I was thinking that if we'd come up with an uncommon, I would just hit a Pauper EDH deck just for fun, but we didn't. So
Yeah, because Legendary Elemental is considered a rare.
yeah. Well, anything from Legends that hasn't been printed since is a rare. I think that's just a rule they have.
It's a
But
fun card.
it does something. It removes Swamp Walk, which is, I guess, at the time a big deal. Um, hmm. Just remembered something. Let me just look up the name of the card as far as other Demir includes. Um,
Yeah, there's. I really like this piece. You do have a couple like Demir staples,
yeah.
but not really that many.
No, I was hoping I was going to ask you for your favorite staples, and we'll do this. I'm flipping the script on you, Jarvis. I hope that's okay.
Oh, that would just end up me building the deck if I just started listing my staples.
Oh, I get to veto them though.
Well, that's also where how powerful you want it to be and how stably did you want it to be.
So I like I said, my staple list is short for Demir because I don't do it too often, but I do like a few things. Like Mystical Tutor is one of my favorite blue cards. Gush is one of my favorite blue cards. I haven't listed them yet because
Okay?
once I go down that rabbit hole, suddenly I'm playing Simic.
Well, that's the thing. Like a lot of times when I'm building Demir decks, if I'm building
Yeah.
them not like I've done deck building videos just for that.
hmm
And a lot of times when I'm doing it, I'll be like, oh, what's my favorite blue card and what's my favorite black card, and I'll just start putting those in there.
Yeah. Well, yeah, Gush is my favorite blue card probably.
And Gush is a great card.
Oh yeah, no, I don't use it, but I do have a foil masks Gush somewhere in my collection. I'm very proud of it. I don't even run it though, but I'm very proud of it.
So because I'm blue decks always need it, I feel because I'm that
hmm
guy. How do you feel about Ristic Study?
I was gonna say no because I don't like relying on it, but if I need a slot spell, a slot filled, I will throw it in at the end. That is true. So hold on that thought.
Okay.
What I'd like to do after creatures though is actually land base.
Okay.
So if you want to transition gears with me there. And by mana base, land base, I also mean mana. So any mana rocks, if I start listing artifacts too, that's why. So how do you feel about fetch lands? This is my opinion. I'm asking of you because not many people actually think they're necessary in EDH.
Uh, the only time I think you should play fetch lands in Casual Commander is if you're playing a landfall or a top deck manipulation matters deck.
You mean the
Otherwise,
things I usually do?
I think fetch lands should not be played in EDH, casual EDH. CDH,
So
definitely.
I'll tell you why I use them, even in like just two colors, is because most of my decks that I build, and my two mainstays I already mentioned, the land creatures and the goblin, are my two mainstay decks that will never come apart. I also have an Oathbreaker version that's like a subset of them, and Oathbreaker Fetch Land is a good thing because it's only a 60 card format. And it's more competitive.
Oh yeah.
In that sense, faster anyway. So I would throw it in just in case I can figure out a way to tool this into it. So the Dimir Fetch is.
Fluted Delta.
I'm seeing if you can name it.
It's Fluty, dude.
Test.
I only know that because I do play it in 60 card.
Mm-hmm. Polluted Delta. Then there's the the Shockland.
The Watery Grave.
Watery Grave. Our Expedition. I'm testing Jarvis here, chat.
You said the Expedition?
Yeah. What's the Filter Land also?
Oh, I don't play Filter Lands.
Oh, you don't?
Here's the reason why.
Okay, tell me.
When I'm playing Magic, it is a
Mhm.
complicated enough game. I want to turn off things that make it complicated for me.
I see.
I also don't play Guild Signets.
Oh, yeah, no, I actually don't for a different reason. Um, and that's to mess with people who like when your opponents have artifacts, because I just don't really run too many artifacts as a default, unless it like requires it. Like this deck's probably got more artifacts than I would usually go for. Which reminds me, if we're gonna put more artifacts in, we could have also did some Tezzy stuff, but I don't really care about Tezzy. Sorry, Tezzy fans.
Well, that's. Do you want the
And
stereotypical commander package with Soul Ring and Arcane Signet?
I mean, we might as well. Also, Hexproof Boots, as I like to call them, Swiftfoot. Noxious Mire, by the way, is the one I was thinking of as far as
Noxious. Did I spell it out? I don't see Noxious Mire.
Is it Noxious Mire? Oh, sorry. I'm looking it up off of someone's Reddit thing. My bad. That was not the real name of the card. Is it Sunken Ruins? Might be Sunken Ruins.
Could be.
Noxious Mire was someone's custom reskin of the card.
Sunken Ruins.
Well, I'm embarrassed. Yeah, so Sunken Ruins. That's the word of it. Darn you, internet. All right. Let's see. So
the Battle Bond land.
Mm-hmm.
Why can't I think of it? There's times where I just start freezing on names, but
Morphic Pool.
There we go. But you know what's funny when I start freezing on names? They're always names of cards that I have in decks that I just pull the deck out. I'm like, okay, what are you?
Mm-hmm.
Like last week, I was brewing with Jolly St. Click, and we were building a mono red deck.
Yep.
And I couldn't think of Unexpected Windfall for some reason.
Oh.
I just was blanking.
Mm-hmm. All right. I realized we didn't actually finish my list of favorite black cards, my mono black cards, so I think we can add a few of those also after we do lands. Just remind me.
Okay.
So how many lands do you think in Dimir is a good idea as someone who plays Dimir a lot?
So I have a rule of thumb with how I build decks.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Don't do this.
Well, no, especially when I'm starting to build the deck for the first time. I
Hmm.
build the deck with 40 as a base point of 40 lands, and
Hmm.
then I remove a land for each for every 2 pieces of ramp I have.
Mm.
And the reason why I do that is it makes it that, especially when I first build a deck, that I know whether or not I have too many lands or not, and it gives me a good place to cut down from. It's
Hmm.
pretty much how, like, even my personal commander decks, I build in the same way.
Hmm.
And it ends up being that a lot of times I end up between 35 and 37 lands.
Okay. See, I go for 36 to start and then assume I'm gonna land there.
Yeah. So, like, right
Okay.
now, you already have Arcane Signet and Soul Ring, so I'd already be down to 39.
Yeah. Um, and on that note, let's see. So we could also throw in some of the other basic fetches like Prismatic Vista
Yep.
is a favorite.
Table Passage.
Fable Passage, yeah, that's another one I love. Although Fabled Passage is better to me in landfall decks and Simic decks because, you're more likely to have four basics by the time you want it.
And for me,
But,
I actually think Fabled Passage is better in casual than Prismatic Vista is.
oh yeah, no, but I like them both.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, definitely.
why not? Let's see. Um, I can't remember the name of them. I do like filter lands. I'm trying to remember the ones that are like you pick, it's like one color and then you can pick another color and it can tap for either for the rest of the game. And there's one in blue, there's one in every color.
Oh, I just thought of Fetid Pools because oh no, that's the Cyclone one. That's not what I was thinking of. Are you thinking of the tap lands
I think they are tap lands. Yeah,
that have
they came in like the
the Jumpstart?
not jumpstart. They came in like a bunch of the precons, like the recent precons actually.
They were
They
originally Jumpstart. You're thinking of the Thriving Lands.
I think so, yes. I'm a fan of them.
Thriving Isle and Thriving Moor.
Yes. I could throw one of each of those in.
Yeah, they ever since they came out in Jumpstart, they seem to be includes in Commander Precons quite a bit.
Yeah, I like them because like, um why not? Give
Yep.
yourself some options.
So we're about halfway through the deck, so we did get an insight into your deck brewing style. What are your
Yeah,
main
absolute insanity.
What are your main deck building philosophies?
Philosophies. I actually, and I'm breaking one of them right now. My favorite thing I like to do is aim for low cost, which makes me sound more competitive than I am. But like 0, 1, 2 cost cards are the best. Anything above 3, 4, you need to justify above 4 for me. Like if
Okay.
it's gonna be like key to a strategy or a way you can get it out earlier, which, Reanimator, easy. Simic, always easy. Um, things like that. Uh, you really have to justify for my taste. I mean, I run high power, high cost cards. Don't get me wrong.
Okay.
They are so few and far between in my decks.
I'm like, you play Simic.
Usually.
Isn't 4 the new 1?
Well, that's the thing. I don't play Simic traditionally in that sense. Like, my favorite Simic cards are like Peak Simic is Hydroid Krasis to me, and that's an X cost, right?
Yep.
But its mana value is 2, technically speaking, in that sense. But here's my philosophy in general: is if you have 4 mana available to you, right? You could pay a 4 drop card, or you could play 4 1 drops,
Yes.
and this what you do is situational. Oh, what do you know? We
Oh,
did summon J-Ro.
hey J-Ro, thank you so
We were
much
we were
for the
saying how
gift of
much we
sub.
love you
Uh,
just like 5 minutes ago.
and we added 2 unsummons in the deck to see if it would summon you.
Yeah.
Both unsummon and waterfront bouncer.
Yep. Oh, sorry, I just hit my mic, everybody, if you heard that in chat. Sorry.
Oh, of course, man. course we love you.
Yep.
Um, so
So
that's that's a deck building philosophy that I really haven't heard. Even
mhm.
though I really do go and feel that one, especially
Well,
when I'm going to make
sorry.
cuts on decks. The first
Mhm.
thing I do is I go and look at the high cost slots first. I
Mhm.
ignore the low cost slots.
Yep. So like, and it's a rare one because, as you said, 4 is the new 1 with power creep and all them things, and it's true. It really is. I I guess, like I said, I grew up playing goblins, and goblins everything is 1, 2, 3. In fact, I alluded to it earlier when I was talking about playing 60 card kitchen table with that 4 drop goblin. Um, the highest cost card that was ever in that deck was Unstable Hulk because it was a morph card, which I guess morph is sort of coming back,
Yeah,
but
it's essentially morph.
it's essentially morph. It's morph with ward. Worf. It's Worf. It's Commander Worf. There you go.
Perfect.
Have fun with that, internet. Yeah. Let's see. So we have 8 lands. I think we should just fill the rest islands and swamps and come back to it if we think of something else.
Okay.
Or do you have any other suggestions?
So this
I mean, we could do like the basic stuff, like
so
uh, um.
lands are always ones that I never have it memorized, and I always just go and pull up a list.
Oh, sure, yeah. I mean, I my favorite uh non-traditional island is Ouroboros because it's a bounce land. Like you can bounce itself.
How many islands do you think you're gonna play?
Well, I'm also looking. There's a few mono black, help lands like term of is it Ouroboros? Term of Yawgmoth's
Ouroboros.
Tomb,
Are
Cabal Coffers, stuff like that.
yeah? Are you talking to Boro House in the Clowns? Clouds.
Yep, that's the blue one I like, and then
Urborg, Tomb of Yawgmoth,
yep,
and Cabal Coffers.
right, like the 3 basics. I also love Rogue's Passage as a non-basic land because it's funny. And Dark Depths because I'm a terrible person, but don't throw Dark Depths in. We don't need it
Oh,
here.
we don't. Hey, I was gonna keep going.
Yeah, yeah,
I wasn't gonna stop.
yeah.
Um, where are you? If you want like the check land, if you want like the reveal lands, there's Choked Estuary.
Yeah, those are fun. Those are all right for this build.
How do you feel about like Field of Ruin or Demolition Field?
Nah, we don't need them for this. This is like we said, this is a weird mid-tier. We're using some higher power cards, some jank cards. This is just going to be a mid-tier ninja deck you play for like teaching magic. I feel like is how this is turning out to be.
Um,
Which is something I actually need in my arsenal right now as a teaching deck because I took apart my last teaching deck.
we also have Bajuka Bog.
Well, Bajuka Bog, yeah, that's again something like that's in the category with Jeet where it's like I wasn't gonna say it, but if someone else does, heck yeah.
There are also a couple lands that I always put in every deck.
Yep.
That is more than one color, and Exotic Orchard
Oh yeah.
and Command Tower, of
Well,
course.
Command Tower, yeah. Oh, I thought you threw that in with the other big others in the big 3 Arcane Signet, Soul Ring, Command Tower.
I did not.
Pardon. Pardon me. Yeah, all right, throw it in.
Uh, then other lands. How do you feel about the castles from Lochthwain?
I
Castles from Eldraine, Lochthwain
yeah, Lock Lane from Lockthwain.
And Vantress.
Nah, the only castle I've ever run is the green one. I know. Don't even say it.
I run
So
Vantress and Lochthwain in my monocolored decks. I don't have them. I'd probably run Lochthwain in a Demir deck. I don't know if I'd run Vantress.
I don't think we need Lockthwain for this. All right, so we're at 16, which is I think half of 32,
Yep.
and 32 to 36 is 10. So if we were to run, I could have just said 36 minus 2, whatever.
You do 10
So we
apiece.
could probably just add 11 swamps, 11 islands for right now and call it a day for lands and come back to it if we want.
Oh, that's not what I wanted to do. Let's go back because I forgot you can't just press enter. You have to wait for them to go and drop
Yep.
down. There we go. 38.
And our current card count is what?
82.
82. All right, so perfect. Now we get to our fun stuff.
Now you're going to talk
Uh,
about mono black staples.
right, yes. So mono black, my list of staples definitely varies from other people's, so judge me all you want, chat. Let's see. So I don't actually remember the ones I'd listed earlier, so if I do a repeat, I'm sorry. Um, Lose Hope is always funny.
That's what I feel when I get out of the bed in the morning.
That implies you start with hope. Wow, all right, you're ahead of me. Defile is good if you have a lot more black. We don't need it because this isn't mono black.
Yeah, because it would only be good if we had herb workout.
Yeah, which we may not. Let's see. Mirrodin Revenge doesn't really help us here. Oh, Reign of Filth is funny if you need a last ditch, a lot of mana.
Here we go. Where are you? There you are.
Kaya's Ghost Form is on my list.
It's good. Um,
Mhm.
that makes me Kaya's ghost form reminds me of Malkir Rebirth.
Yes.
Because I'm also a fan of the MDFCs.
Mm. I'm into it.
J-Ro is Bubbling Muck.
Bubbling Muck's good. Bitter Downfall is a Lord of the Rings card I liked. There's a lot of removal, is what I'm saying, I guess, right?
Yeah.
I like removal in black. It's my favorite.
Oh, me too.
Like I said, that's why I don't like mono black so much. Is I end up just making a removal reanimator deck every time. And I think the first commander we had would have been perfect, but you know, Vampiric Tutor, the better Imperial Seal is on my list. But again, that's more power creepy. But I don't care right now.
Oh yeah, Power Creep's fine here.
Yep.
One thing that I've noticed, you have a lot of single target. Did you want any
Yeah.
board wipes?
I don't like board wipes too much, and like I said, if I'm aiming
You
this
have
to be
one.
like a learning deck, I don't need too many.
Yeah, you have one right now in the Invasion of Fiora.
Which again is one of my favorite cards in black. So I mean, if I wanted to run, what is it, Damnation?
Yep.
I could throw that in. I'm more of the single target removal. I feel like for politics' sake in EDH, I like single target. If you're gonna just board wipe, I prefer Supreme Verdict. You know, if we were playing Esper.
Yep.
Because I'm not a monster at all, chat.
No, but I am.
Yeah. But let's see. Um. All right. So then we also could use a few more blue cards for things. We don't have any enchantments. I just realized, do we?
You have three in
Oh, we
Kaya's
have
Ghost
Kaya.
Form,
Yeah, I mean, but those are like.
Rogue Class,
Oh, we have
and
Rogue
Training
Class.
Grounds.
Training Grounds. Yep. Um.
J-Ro said Spoils of Evil.
Spoils of Evil. Oh, that's been a minute. Let me look at that one.
I'm like, I have to look that one up.
Yeah.
For each artifact or creature in target opponent's graveyard, add one colorless mana to your mana pool and gain one life.
Oh, I ran this card way back when, actually. Wow.
I need to run this card.
It's not bad. It's good if you follow a board wipe with it, right?
It's a Sir Conrad card.
It is a Sir Conrad card.
How did no one ever tell me about this card before? The internet
You
has
never
failed
asked
me,
J-Ro.
right?
You never asked J-Ro.
I guess the internet has failed me.
Yeah.
So you asked about my favorite cards before.
Yeah.
Bulls Citadel.
Oh, yeah, no, I love that card too, but
I put it in every black deck.
Really?
That is 3 colors or less. If I have an extra one sitting around, it will go in there. I will kill
I
myself.
guess we actually do have enough creature token things off some of the ninjas to make the tap effect kind of good.
I don't play for the tap effect. I
I know
just
you don't know.
I just
It's
love to
not
kill
you don't need it for the
myself.
tap effect. You don't need it for the tap effect at all. But it's kind of funny when you can do it and people are like, why? Why
Yep.
would you do this?
But that's
We
up
could
to
throw it in.
you. Okay.
Um,
Plus, I am still the monster that loves running Citadel, Reservoir, and Divining Top.
mm, yeah, we don't need top in this.
No, but I said monster.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, I think Jibber also said Cabal Ritual, which I thought I said Dark Ritual earlier, but we can throw Cabal in
You
as
did say
well.
dark earlier.
Yeah. Cabal is just Dark Ritual, but a little more table conscious, like it doesn't feel as cheap when you run that one.
Yeah.
Unless you threshold, which you can if you play like how I usually play black. Like when I usually run mono black, back in the day, I would just fill the graveyard because I was playing mono black. One of my decks was mono black in Odyssey block when threshold was like important.
Yep.
Cabal
So
Ritual was there.
the one thing that you could do as well, because we do have a lot of ninjas.
Yeah.
How do you feel about Roaming Throne?
Ooh, I mean, Roaming Throne. Give me a second. Give me a second.
Because currently we have 17 ninjas.
We do have 17 ninja, yes. Um, do we have too many trigger effects though on ninja? Because
Per,
I think ninja are mostly ETB effects.
which are triggers.
I guess that is a trigger, yeah. I mean, is it an ET? Yeah, if it's an EPTB trigger versus an ETB replacement effect, yeah.
Yeah, most of them have like deal combat damage triggers.
All right, then yeah, we could do that one. Roaming Throne's good there. At that sense, is Panharmonicon also a good add if there's a lot of ETB stuff?
Let's look at the ETB. A lot of them are deal damage. Some are ETB, but I think
If there's
most of them,
more, then I'd say Roaming Throne over Pan any day at that point.
yeah, most of them are deal damage effects.
All right, so then yeah, we'd want Roaming Throne. Oh wow, just watch the price jump there on the deck.
Yeah, Roaming Throne is the cheapest one is $18,
I know. Good thing we didn't put budget in.
right?
Hey. All right, so our total is let's see. 94.
So when you're thinking of the last few cards that we have,
Sure, sure.
uh, this is a new favorite question of mine to ask.
Yeah.
If you were able to ban any card in Magic in any format, I know we're mostly doing Commander here. What card would you ban?
If I could ban a card in any format,
And let me
you know,
rephrase
I
that.
have.
It's gonna be sorry. It's gonna be banned in every format it's legal in already. So
Oh, that's a different
yeah,
question
sorry,
then.
I misphrased it. So
Mm,
if you could ban any card and it would be banned in all of Magic, what card would it be?
that's a tough one because I know the card I would ban an Oathbreaker. Um, but I don't want. I think it's fun in Commander. So I wouldn't use it there. Um, I always joke too. This is not my answer, but Sir Ginger and Oathbreaker is also a menace, but I love it. Uh, also Archmage's Charm for cards I want to add to the deck. For blue. I was
Okay.
trying to remember the name of it. Love this card. Um, let's see. Um, Let me look up the name of the one I'm thinking of for your question though.
Okay. See, I've only ever built one Oathbreaker deck,
Mm-hmm.
and that Oathbreaker deck was Tevizat and Jessica.
Oh, yeah, well.
And it
Well,
was
Jessica's Willy is a problem, but
well, it was my signature spells were, if I remember correctly, because I haven't played it in a while. It might have been
mm-hmm.
Cabal Ritual was one of them.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
That was Tevizat, and for Jessica, it was Worldfire.
Yeah.
Because I'm
So there's
a
the thing about Oathbreaker is you get a lot of situations where like, oh, well, you could do Narset Windfall and just win. It's like, or you could do Haltley Towers and win. It's like, yeah, but then people don't want to play with you, you know? But anyway,
At least that win con is 8 mana.
yeah.
Well, more than that, because then I
Um,
also have to recast Jessica
oh,
again.
I don't think we put Narset's Reversal in the deck.
We did not.
We should do that. That's a good one. That's always funny.
I have bad memories of Narcissus Reversal, but I still love the card.
Well, I think you and I have had this conversation once before. I think we did because I was talking about how the most evil thing you can do with that card is to Narcissus Reversal someone's ramp spell.
Oh, that wasn't even what I had done with it, but yeah, Narcissus Reversal and Ramp Spell is hilarious.
It's evil. It's absolutely evil. Is it legal? Yes. Is it funny? Once.
Uh, no, it was an Exsanguinate. I got Narset Reversaled on me.
hmm
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I died.
hmm
And see, we're being evil. J-Rose said, Harrow specifically, to go in Narset Reversal.
Oh yeah, no, that's one of my favorite cards ever is Harrow, yeah. Yep. Um or just Kadama's Reach on an R set. I've actually had a Kadama's Reach and R set it before. So
Sounds like something I would do.
it was not you. It was a long time ago.
Oh, I was like, I didn't do it because I don't think I run Narcissus Reversal in any deck anymore.
No.
But that is definitely
Yeah.
something I would do.
I think it'd be good in this deck because why not? Um, but back to your question. Gosh, what's it called?
What does it do?
What do?
The card that you're thinking of.
Well, it's a form of hold on a second. Oh yeah, just Spark Harvest.
Spark Harvest.
Yeah.
So you would be,
An Oathbreaker. Uh,
so yeah, Spark Harvest and Oathbreaker can see being a problem. I'm gonna pull it up so people can see it.
mhm.
Uh it just
But
shows
I
you
actually don't want it banned because, it's still a fair card.
It's fine everywhere else.
Yeah, yeah. I just see it so much that it's just like, yes, I get it. Thank you. It's like it became an auto include Black Oathbreaker card, and that's fine. I'm not gonna argue with weird cards or anyone else. Run it. It's a good card. Absolutely. I run it. Who am I kidding? I'm a hypocrite, right?
Okay.
So, but yeah, for a card that could go for any format, the Raging Proletariat wants me to ban Mana Crypt because it's only really legal in Vintage and Commander. Questing Beast and Oathbreaker? No, J-Ro, that's fun in Oathbreaker. I don't know what you're talking about. Um, yeah, no, I'm just gonna be the Raging Proletariat and say Mana Crypt
Mana Crypt?
just to even the playing field for the rest of us.
Sounds good.
I'm a photographer. You think I have Mana Crypt money? I have 3 dual lands, and that's because I had them in the 90s. And those are the 3 I'm gonna have unless someone serendipitously gets me a 4th one or I find a really good deal or something.
I've had 3 Mana Crypts and I've sold every single one.
Well,
So I
yeah.
appreciate it.
Yeah. Now the CEDH, by the way, being a sub format, I would say it can stay legal there. just because it's CEDH, and I don't think I'm not one of those people who says CEDH needs its own like ban list.
Oh, but it would
But for
get
that particular case, I'm adding the little asterisk
oh,
on my ban.
but it would get banned everywhere, including in Vintage Cube.
Mmm. Again, it's funny too because like I have no problem with the card. I feel like it's fine. I just need to answer the question. I just think it's funny because it only is in two formats as it is. So
Oh yeah.
just the best answer I could give.
So we have it looks like 4 more cards to hit 100 cards. We could always go over and cut it back down as well.
Which is what I do usually, yeah.
Me too.
Um, but let's see. So we can think of some other synergy cards for our creature base, like other ninjutsu enablers. I think there are a few that aren't creatures themselves. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to search ninjutsu as just the text on the card in Scribefall real quick.
Other thing I was thinking of while we were talking, we do have some creatures that have flying, like Baleful Strix,
Mm-hmm.
or other ways that can't be blocked, like Entrada has can't be blocked on it. Did you want other creatures like that so that way you could go and get your ninjutsu in?
Like other unblockables. That's actually why Rogue Passage was an include for me, right?
Yep. So like,
Then there was, if I was playing the way I would usually play a deck, like I said, there's that one creature that was reprinted so many times recently. It was like creatures with power toughness 1 or 2 cannot be blocked.
Umazawa.
Umazawa, yeah. If I was playing how I usually run a deck, I'd probably throw Umazawa in.
Which it would add Tatsuku Umazawa, uh, which would actually make a lot of sense here
Yeah,
because
we could throw Umazawa in, yeah.
the reason why I was thinking of that is I was thinking of my Demir commander,
Mm,
Grima Saruman's Footman, because he also can't
right.
be blocked. But
Hmm.
he steals things.
Yep.
But I also like theft.
I used to have an Oathbreaker deck that I took apart a long time ago. It was one of my first Oathbreaker decks, and it was called Mr. Steel Yo cards. Because if you remember the deck Planeswalker, what that did, right?
Yeah.
Just you target something and now it's yours. And
My
every other card basically was stealing things. Oh, Blatant Thievery, for instance. I don't throw that one in the deck. I'm just saying, Blatant Thievery is a 9 drop that you just own a permanent now of your choice.
uh one of my one of the decks I built when they first came out, I did have a Paco and Halden deck. And
Okay,
it
yeah.
was just and the deck name would just steal your shit
Hmm.
because Paco can't steal creatures.
Yep.
So all the other cards I had in my deck, I should say a good majority of the cards I had in my deck could steal creatures. So Paco would go and
Okay.
steal everything else, and then I would steal creatures with the rest of the cards.
Yep.
Because I'm a monster.
No one's refuting it, bud. No one's refuting that.
Oh, I know.
Do me a favor. Scroll down to the mana curve. Let's see how we're doing as far as like 1 drops and stuff and 2 drops.
It's is weighted very highly to the low end of the scale. So
Okay,
you're
so
looking
I'm
at
instinctively doing this.
yes,
Is
like
yes.
right now
Okay.
your curve is without
Pretty
lands
good.
2.74. So yeah, that is pretty good.
Pretty good, yeah. Like for a janky non-jank deck, we're doing pretty well. I accidentally
Your commander ruins the curve on you.
absolutely no. And we're never gonna use him. Them. Her? Ur-Drago?
Uh,
Ur-Drago's
I
I
don't
say them.
I don't know the lore
Oh,
behind the Ur-Drago Elemental.
yeah.
Like I didn't even know it was a card.
Mm.
I was like, Ur-Drago. I'm like, is it missing an N? Did EDHREC have a problem?
Earn Dragon?
Ur-Dragon.
Ur-Dragon. No, but I thought it was Ur-Drago.
Ur-Drago. That'd be fine.
Like it's a Drago for clay pots.
Yes.
Yes. We got there.
Did it? Kind of looks
Um,
like it's made out of them.
a little bit. I mean, back in the old days, all the art was kind of like that. Is that a Christopher Rush card, actually?
Uh, it is.
It is. Oh, yeah, I still got it. I still got it. Look at that. Yeah, no, a lot of the art from that era was kind of like looked like it was drawn on the side of a pot, which is awesome. Um, I knew a few older timers, as it were, back then, because I was telling that story about how I was like 9 running around the game store. And my brother and I were like the two people who would go on Magic FNM, and we were the only people under 40, right?
Does your
And they
brother
would
still
tell us
play?
stories. What?
Does your brother still play?
Yeah, but like, not like to the degree I play, I have a matching beanie for my Magic gear. I mean, come on, right? Like, uh, but yeah, but we were the only people under 40, and I heard a story once how like collectible card games before Magic didn't have rules. It was just you collected a picture of a card, right? Like that's what it was. And the fact that they're making art cards now for Magic is hilarious to me, knowing that. But so all the art from early Magic looked like the cards that those folks had in their briefcases that they like kept their decks in. It was they were showing other card games they collected before Magic, and it looked like that. Same artists. Because who did you call? The people who are already doing that stuff, right?
Yep.
You had Phil Foglio way back when. Some of the best art they had back then. They had gosh, I never remember the name. Arcade Post, one of the best ones ever. You know.
Yeah, my story about like what starting off when I got back
Mhm.
into it is the LGS owner. Before he really started selling Magic and other trading card games, he was also a sports card seller. But he
Mm.
had always been a big nerd. He collected comic books. He played D&D. He did all of that stuff. So his
Yep.
friend knew that he was into that stuff, and his friend was able to get Alpha when it first came out, and invited him over to go and play Alpha. So
Mm.
his first experience with Magic was literal Alpha.
Wow. So a friend of mine used to own a game store in town where I live now, which closed during COVID, unfortunately. But uh, I remember this one day I was like playing with some of the kids in the store. They were playing, I think they were playing Modern that day, and then we played Commander after that. But like, I would just kind of like play in the back while like, babysitting as it were. And these kids
Yep.
has grown up now. I've seen them now. They're in high school. It's kind of bizarre. But anyway, I would watch the kids in the back of the store. He'd be like running his store, and this was just for fun, really. I would just go there play Magic. But this dude came in, and I remember the whole store got quiet. He just dropped a huge box on the table. It's like, "Can you buy these off me?" It was a set of alphas and betas, and the guy's like, "I can't give you the keys to the store. It's all I got that'd be worth that much." You know?
Yep. I don't know. I might have given him the keys to the store.
Nah. Let's see here. I'm still just looking up other mono blue stuff that we can play around with. Oh, I was looking up Ninja Synergy, is what I was looking at, right? Yeah. Um, I'm spelling ninjutsu wrong, is what I learned. That's why I abandoned that search.
Let's search ninjutsu. Am I
Well,
spelling
you're just gonna
ninjutsu
get the
wrong?
creatures, right?
Oh, I'm looking at. Am I looking at name or? Oh, I was spelling ninjutsu wrong as well. It's like ninjutsu.
Ninjutsu, right?
Yep.
Like Jujutsu Kaisen, yeah.
So orbital attacks. A lot of them are creatures. Let's see
Yep.
if there's anything that's not a creature.
I love how roaming throne is like the number one thing on EDHREC for it. I'm like, yeah, we know, we got there, we did it.
Well, it takes a bit. Yeah, all of the things that say ninjutsu on them are creatures.
Our creatures, yeah.
Um, One thing I will say from looking at your deck that you are lacking card draw.
Yeah, I mean, I put Gush in and stuff like that. That's the other thing I was gonna just say is like we could put like brainstorm cards in, I think.
I know. I know you
Doesn't
like
Archmage have a?
Archmage has a draw two card on it.
Yeah, it does.
Um, I know you like Surveil. You could always put Consider in.
I mean, I was gonna say Scryfish if I thought of nothing else.
You can consider. Wait, what?
Well,
Um,
there's Scryfish and Surveilfish.
you could also go with repeatable card draw, like
Well, Ristic Study again. If we needed
well,
to fill a slot, we could throw it in.
Phyrexian Arena.
Oh yeah. I don't like that card. I mean, it's awesome, but I don't like running it. But yeah, we could probably. I think in this deck it would fit. Actually.
And a card that's fallen out of favor
Yep.
that might actually make sense for this card as well is Dark Confidant.
Oh wow. Haven't thought about that in a second. Yeah.
I remember like pre-COVID or like right during COVID, like Dark Confidant was played all the time,
Mm-hmm.
and it has fallen out of favor so much.
I think there's just better ways to do the same thing now.
There
I
are,
wouldn't run it actually in this deck now that you mention it, but I'm like, I haven't thought of that card in a long time.
yeah, just because of how low the curve is, I'm like, it makes sense here. And
Yeah.
the other thing I was
I mean, we
thinking
could throw
of,
it in. We
things
could
that
throw it
we
in.
did add that might not make as much sense now. The Ickermoon Gauntlet.
Yeah, no, we were thinking more planeswalkers at the time. I'd say we cut that one. You know what? Actually, don't throw Dark Confidant in because it takes away half the fun of ninjas.
Okay.
If you reveal what the ninja is, it kind of like. Oh, I know. Let me look at one thing I think we can do. Hold on one second. Let me pull up another one of my card package lists.
I just
Oh,
thought of
Mox
another
Field.
card and I can't think of the name. It
What's it do?
is. Isn't there a blue card that whenever you deal combat damage, you draw a card?
Oh, yeah. Hold on. Mm, I don't know, but I don't remember the name of it. I was just thinking we'd throw cards like Brainstorm, Preordain, and stuff like that, but it did remind me of something else I wanted to put in the deck initially, which was Aqueous Form, one of my favorite cards ever,
Okay.
which is great for ninjutsu. Once. It's great once for ninjutsu.
I was waiting for Darth to come in with the clutch. This is gonna bug me.
So when you deal damage, draw a card.
I should have made it an enchantment because it's turned back 91, and I know it's an enchantment. Oh, there's Bida of Thassa. That one is
Yeah. Yep. I found it at the same time you did, actually.
it is a 4-drop.
It is a 4-drop, which is fine. We have enough space for that.
I'm just gonna see if there's anything else.
I mean, like I said, I'm a big fan of like Preordain and Serum Visions and cards like that to fill.
Yeah, I mean,
There's also Curiosity, but that's like a specific creature, which isn't as good with ninjutsu.
no. But yeah. So Bida of Thassa, do you want to add that in?
Yeah, we can throw it in.
Okay.
We have the space.
It would have been easier if I just pressed home, but it is what it is.
Mhm.
So which one would you want out of those? Preordain, Serum Visions, Brainstorm.
Well, if we're dropping a few of the, well, we dropped Iker Moon, right? So we actually have
You have
how
right
many
now we're at
spots
90.
left?
We're at
We are at
99,
99. Okay.
and it's
All right.
unless you wanted to cut more lands because you are at 38, 39 if you include the MDFC of Malakir Rebirth.
Yep.
You could probably go away with going down to 36.
We could get it, which is where I usually target for.
So I'm just gonna remove one of each.
Yep. Let's see.
Giving you 3.
Let's see. Oh, you know what would be better than aqueous form actually would be Goggles of Night because that's an equipment, so we could just redo it for another ninja. But I love aqueous form, so leave it in.
We could add Goggles of Night, which is a card that I don't think I've ever heard.
Oh, it's fun. You know the list that this is that I'm reading off of now is one of my favorite decks I've ever built. It's so stupid.
You know what?
Artful Dodge is another one. We're not doing the draw cards. I'm just saying cards I like in this deck. Um, what's better, Preordain or Serum Visions? You either scry first then draw, or draw first then scry. I
People,
think Preordain's better in that sense.
I think people tend to
Scry and
like
then draw.
Preordain more.
Yeah, Preordain over Serum Visions for sure.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. So that's 100 there, I
Well,
think.
well, you need
I've
one
gone over
more.
now.
You need one more.
One more.
Yeah.
So did you put Artful Dodge in?
I did not because you said not to put it in.
Oh, I said put it in then.
Oh,
I
okay.
like it. I like it. So Artful Dodge, you familiar with the card?
I am
It's
not.
this one I think is really good for ninjutsu because you make it unblockable and it's a flashback, so you can do it twice
Okay.
in command. Yeah.
Nice.
Yep.
So we're at 100 cards. Is there
We're at 100 cards.
anything that you want to change on the list?
I think it's actually more solid than I thought this was going to be.
Okay.
I like if you running down the list. Can you do me a favor? Go to the view style. So I think that's the gear next to the search box.
I don't think that changes the view.
Yeah, just go. Oh no, what's the thing where you can actually see what kind, whether it's a list of cards or you can actually see the cards themselves, like the grid type.
Let's see.
I think it's view.
View.
Maybe it's under view now.
Visual grid. There's the visual grid, or we could do visual stacks.
Well, visual grid's fine.
Okay.
Yeah. Because we can actually see at least the top of each of these here. Yeah, I think as far as the creatures go, it's a nice mix. There's a lot of ninja, which is what we wanted. They're pretty synergistic with the ones we picked, and support creatures. So that's good. Sorceries we don't really care about. I like instants better. It's blue and black. We don't really worry about them. The only expensive one that's kind of like it was kind of a maybe was Archmage's Charm, but I think for utility it's good for a deck like this.
I agree.
Um, I just love the vanilla counterspell just in the middle. It's like, yeah, I'm here. What of it?
Nothing to see here.
Nothing to see here. Just keep moving. Move along, sir.
And you bring sure you don't really run that many artifacts. You have Soul Ring and Arcane Signet.
Yeah, I said I'm very consistent, I guess, in that sense. I don't run a lot of artifacts. I don't run a lot of sorcerers.
Yeah, the only other artifact that I would have put in here for mana ramp was the Talisman.
Yeah, no, absolutely. That's actually might be a worthwhile sub for something if we find one. Um, ooh. Scroll down a bit. Let's see the enchantments. I mean, Phyrexian Arena is good for the card draw. We could actually. Oh, I know. Go back to instance. I know what to do. We could sub a little higher. We could sub Reign of Filth, actually, I think, uh for the talisman. Because Reign of Filth is something you do as a last-ditch effort, but if you're just gonna have solid mana, you don't need it.
And you really don't need
Oh, Hamhawks is raiding.
Yo, Ham, how are you doing, man? Welcome in, Raiders.
Wow. How appropriate. We love ham here. This is a ham friendly house.
Definitely. Hope your stream went well. We're just finishing up the deck.
We're finishing the deck. We can chat more if you want. We have people now. We can talk about the deck. Let's review the deck again for the people who just joined.
So
how's that?
For those of you that haven't been here before, and Hattie, thank you so much for the follow. This is a deck build that we do. We pick a random commander from EDHREC. can spin up to a total of 3 times, but once you respin, you lose the previous commanders. We ended up spinning all 3 times, ended up with Ur-Drago.
And if you haven't heard of it, neither did we.
No.
Well, I heard of it, but I never used it. So what we elected to do, if I may take over now,
Yeah.
sorry, we elected to just make a Dimir deck in the 99 and just ignore the commander unless it was a last ditch commander damage thing, because it has first strike and a useless ability.
Yep. As many legend cards do.
Yes.
It's a 7-mana 4/4 first striker.
Yep. Everybody loves it. But it was fun to play around in Dimir, which is, Jarvis's wheelhouse and not my wheelhouse. So we got to play around with it.
Yeah.
And we just elected on ninjas because we like ninja. Get over it.
Yeah, deal with it.
Deal with
So
it. Deal with it.
we have a lot of ninja cards in here, and a lot of other good things. And Ham, I'm glad you couldn't stay away because I have a hard time staying away from you.
Yeah, no, Ham. If I don't need to tell Ham's audience this, but Ham is genuinely one of the nicest people I've met in Magic. Like I remember in Minneapolis where I'd met Ham in person, and Ham hadn't heard of me, but it's fine. I wasn't famous yet. But Ham's like, no, please tell me about yourself. And I was like, I feel weird. And he goes, no. And I kept saying this, and he's like, no, I really want to hear about your life. I'm like, wow, no one's ever really, said, and like that's a rare quality, and I respect that so much, bud. Not just because it was about me, just in a person, just to want to hear about other people sincerely.
Sounds very much like him.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the other restriction I put on deck builds is either a budget or no budget. We did spend no budget, so we were able to use whatever cards we wanted. So there are some
And
expensive cards in here, like Imperial Seal.
which should not be as expensive as it is. It's like
No.
the worst vampire tutor.
Yes, agreed.
Yeah.
I'm like,
But
this is a this is a $75 card. This is a $30 card, but it's better.
But Imperial Seal is rarer for collectors because it's never been reprinted, and people don't even know about it really. When I bring it up and I play it in a game, people are like, "What is this?"
Yeah, it was a card that people don't really play in casual.
Right. But, it was an option. So is Scheming Symmetry, which is funny.
I
I
like
wish they did a
Symmetry.
reprint of Scheming Symmetry because I don't like the artist, but, whatever.
Oh yeah, agreed.
You got to do that until they give us a new quote Ristic study, which they did finally. Let's see here. Then as far as like instants, I'm a very instant heavy player, and I don't think there's an instant here I dislike. J-Ro gave us one that we'd forgotten about, but other than that, I think this is like just a list of our favorites, really.
Yeah, Spoils of Evil sounds like a Ham card as well.
Oh yeah, I could definitely see Ham playing this card. 100%.
It's his fault too that I don't know about it because he probably knows about it.
Mm.
Thank you, Darth.
Yeah.
And
then just basic support for artifacts, not really too much going on.
No.
Yeah.
And
that's it.
Same thing with the enchantments, kind of basic.
Yeah.
Uh,
We're just kind of like Training Grounds, I think, was a big like Darth came in clutch with that one in the chat. I just love Aqueous Form and Kaya's Ghost Form. I like cards that end in form, apparently. I guess. Those are both dope cards, though, in a deck like this.
And then just a pretty basic mana base.
Yeah, just we didn't go for the original dual land because we don't need to jack up the price that much, even though there's no budget and there's not really a point to it. But
yeah.
So.
Now I do have a last question for it. Well, for you on the deck. What do you want to
on the
name
deck? Oh yes, SpectaclesInBlue Commander. Actually, just I love the name of that. But well, now that we actually know what we're not doing, which is not the Ur-Drago deck. So my mainstay deck's actually named after Grateful Dead songs.
Okay.
Well, this is not going to be a mainstay deck, obviously, but I don't see a problem in doing a music theme here. It's ninja heavy. Mm-hmm. Ninja support heavy. I have my wall of CDs is literally next to me, so if you see, I'm gonna be staring at this for a hot second, chat.
It's over.
Uh, what do we want to name this after here?
Disappearing into the ether.
Oh yeah, the white void, as I like to call it. This is just my photography background. This is literally just you can if I tip the laptop, a bit back, you see the edges of it. So
Yep.
Ninja Sex Party. No, I mean, okay. I actually do have some NSP albums over here. The old ones, Oh, Ham, you have a green screen, don't you? Am I
Cam does,
I'm
yes.
remembering that properly. Yeah. Jarvis actually, that's not a green screen behind Jarvis. That's actually he just has a Microsoft Paint. I'm kidding. He just What is that? That's what program use? Illustrator?
No, my cousin does, yeah.
Your cousin.
He's
Your
he
cousin used
actually probably
Illustrator. Okay.
he might have actually used Photoshop for it because he used Photoshop when Illustrator would work as well. But yeah,
I see.
he does
Okay.
all my logos because I am terrible at art.
I mean, as a someone, I actually am working on a pixel art piece, right? So I did my own logo, which a lot of people don't believe me when I say that because I did pixel art for a long time too. But any other kind of like Illustrator art, no. But I could do pixels. Pixels I got just one square at a time. I'm your human.
Just like my stream starting student screen, he animated that.
Mm-hmm. Oh, really? Dope. Mm. Not getting an inspiration from the music wall, unfortunately. So we might change tactics here.
Okay.
I'm trying to make a pun on Ur-Drago, really, because it's not useful.
He's the best ninja because you'll never see him.
Mmm, interesting. I like that. Hold on. We can work with that. I'm trying to fill silence while I think, but because Ur-Drago, if we made the title all about Ur-Drago, no one thinks it's an Ur-Drago deck for some reason, and it's just ninjas. How about Ur-Drago Surprise? The surprise is it's ninjas.
Or Dragon Surprise. Perfect. There we go.
Yeah, that is a deck we did.
Has a name and everything.
It has a name. It has cards in it. There's lands. There's at least one land.
Yes.
We've succeeded at Commander.
It has all the card types.
Yeah,
Except,
we did check off all the boxes, even battles.
yep.
We have 2 battles. For all you battle fans, you're welcome, 2 people. One of them being me.
When they
You want to hit the
first
playtest button? See what the
sure.
hand is.
When they first
Yeah.
came out, I
Oh,
tried
that's funny.
putting battles in pretty much all my decks, and they did
Yeah.
slowly get cut.
So, all right, now hit R and then enter. Just we'll get a different hand than the pre-bail. That's a
That's actually
weird
not bad.
opening hand.
It's actually not bad.
Because well, you get a fabled passage. You don't have a black. You only have a blue.
But you get the black real easily from the Fabled Passage.
Right, but that comes in tapped if you don't have 4 lands. All right, R enter. Let's do one more. Okay, so turn 1 Soul Ring.
Yep.
Love it. Ship it.
You don't have any blue,
Don't
but
have any blue, but you know, you have a Vamp Tutor right there. You can do the Vamp Tutor for Command Tower, which is always funny. Because they'll never know.
no. And you do have the Silencer.
You have the
So
Silencer, which is yeah.
you get the Ninja Game
Actually
going
this
early.
I wouldn't keep the hand, but it is playable if you had to.
Oh, I would keep it.
I mean, here, press D for me, see what the next draw is, because it's Commander.
Oh,
Yeah.
Imperial Seal.
The other tutor.
Uh,
Yeah.
you'll have 2 drops before you have to worry. Oh, there we go. Just the
There
third
it
one.
is. Yep. Just the third one.
And
Yeah. That's
if you vamp tutored for the land,
yeah.
actually, well, you could Imperial Seal for the land.
And you get to top deck. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
There you go. Well,
Yeah.
like I said, so Chad, I didn't even mention. I when we kind of about halfway through, I realized this could be a nice teaching deck for like. I don't want to say it's a 7, but I'd say it's like a 6. You know,
Yeah.
it's a 6 with really good cards in it.
Yeah, definitely.
Yep. Which is what we're aiming for. So
Yeah, a nice lower low yeah, I'd say more lower powered casual deck. It can still do
yep.
things and still has a game plan, but you're not gonna beat the doors off anyone.
Right. Well, that's another philosophy I have for my high power mainstays is I like building decks that you could play at different levels. Like you could play the same deck against a newbie or play the same deck against someone who's borderline CEDH and still do well. This deck I feel like is not going to do well against a borderline CEDH, but you can still do anywhere on the range from like 3 to 7, I think.
Yep.
So,
So with that being said, we did finish the deck. So
right, I
one
think we kind of abandoned the interview when we realized how far behind we were on the deck.
well, we actually asked a lot of questions when you were thinking of cards.
Oh, that's true. That's
I
true.
spread questions out a lot more. Hey, but it
Oh,
happens.
I'm very verbose. Yeah, we didn't need to we didn't need to ask too many questions. I think I answered more than I
Yep.
yeah.
um.
So,
So why don't you remind everyone about who you are again?
oh, let me actually put my website in the chat this time because
Oh,
that's like a thing I could do.
definitely. Yeah. Links are turned on.
Yeah. So SpectaclesInBlue.com is it's a link tree, but don't worry, it has a fancy URL because you know
Why not?
that it's why not $12 for 5 years AO, right? So SpectaclesInBlue.com is where you can find links to everything. There's a Moxfield link, which I guess this deck is under Jarvis unless we like you can add someone as a collab, but I don't think I don't know.
Well, I will go and do that. The thing is, you
But
have to follow me, and I think I have to follow you. But that's not a problem.
that's we can figure that out, yeah,
Yep.
after this. Um but this list is going to be available on Jarvis. But my Instagram is my biggest link. Twitter is my second biggest link. Then there's other things like threads and etc. Anyway, I'm a photographer and I make magic content over on Instagram. I talk a lot about the game, photograph cards in a nice and pretty way, little collages, synergies, jokes, whatever I feel like doing. Make the content you want and the numbers will matter later. That's my philosophy. As for Twitter, though,
I
I
agree
have a
with that.
different thing. What?
I agree with that.
Yeah. As for Twitter, I photograph a lot of my contemporaries, and that story was earlier in the stream. But I photograph my contemporaries, and they end up posting them all mostly on Twitter, sometimes on Instagram, and then I retweet it. So my Twitter, besides my jokes and stupid photoshops, is a repository of things I've retweeted from other people, which is just my work. So there you go. And then who knows? Maybe someone's profile pictures of something I took. I don't know. Sometimes it happens. It's funny when it does to me. I actually see sometimes because I retain rights to my work. There's a watermark on everything, but then people will use it like their flyer or their info card, and I'll be like, oh, that's a nice photo. Oh, I took that. Oh, I'm a jerk. I forget. I've taken a lot of photos.
I can understand that.
Yeah, I remember it was funny too because I'm Shivam's Casual Magic. The last episode that Gunner was on, I took that photo of him in Minneapolis, and I was literally thinking that exact stream of thought. I'm like, this is a really good photo of Gunner. Whoever did this it was me.
Oops.
Whoops. Good thing I didn't write that in the comments. Wow, I was halfway through typing it.
Well, I really do appreciate you joining for joining me. The deck turned out fantastic, especially with not really having a guiding point in it.
Commander.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no real guiding point except colors. Uh,
Yep. I like a blank canvas. What can I say?
hey, it worked out fantastic.
Yep.